and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. And here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
Go big red indeed. No block, no rock. Post demolishing, post Bloomington blowout. Coming at you from the NBNR studio in Omaha, Nebraska. Let's cut to it. What are you guys drinking? Cardinal Pale Ale.
Oh,
Something different.
Yeah, that's new.
We got
Well, new for you.
It's usually a pickle or maybe a Pilsner here and there. Cardinal Pale Ale. Something a little stronger. A little stronger.
Next time we should bring Everclear to handle the L that we took this weekend.
Are you drinking Everclear, Mike?
No,
Oh.
unfortunately, we don't have any. So instead, I chose my favorite beer because it makes me happy. The game made me sad. This makes me happy. Yep. EOS Hefeweizen, best beer that Nebraska Brewing Company makes, in my humble opinion. Connor, go ahead.
Pilsy boy.
Same damn place. Same damn beer. It's a Nebraska Brewing Company Pilsner. You know, it's weird. I feel like I saw you guys yesterday.
You did. You did.
And Saturday.
And Saturday. It's
That
3 days, 3 shows.
3 days, 3 shows. This one is explicit. So
Fuck yeah.
if you miss those ones, just
You get
buckle up.
You get to hear the anger today. Kyle Byers, what are you drinking?
Kyle, what do you got?
I split the last 2 EOS Hefeweizen in the fridge with Mike. So wink, wink. Connor.
There you go.
Best beer on tap. And then I've got a Squeeze the Day on deck. So that's what I'm drinking.
Oh, for this nice weather we've got going on outside, huh?
You know, the
I
weather
like it.
outside looks like the game looked on Saturday.
The weather
gloomy,
outside.
dark,
Yeah.
shitty,
Yeah.
all those things.
The weather outside is frightful.
And so is Nebraska football.
I wish I could tell you you were wrong.
I don't know where to keep going with that. But Connor, Nebraska Brewing Company, world class.
In every glass.
Okay. Hey guys. So we're in the election is 15 days away. I might rather talk about the election, quite frankly.
It would be, I think I'd be less angry talking about the election.
Right.
I wouldn't. All these text messages that I'm getting, like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm so
I
so ready
can't
for it to be
wait.
done.
I would rather get the text messages.
Yeah.
It got to a point, fellas, you know, by the mid third quarter, I was pretty much checked out. Kyle, you were kind of doing your own thing. Like you were glancing at the TV every once in a while. I don't know about you guys, but
No, I was watching it. And I love the pain.
yeah.
I legitimately, you guys know the table that we sit at the brewery all the time, the big, tall, round one.
Yeah.
We call it 106. I think by the end of the second, I literally had my face on the table.
Is that called 106 because that used to be the round table at the original brewery? Was
Yeah,
that 106?
it actually is, yeah.
I was like, I remember the seating chart.
Yeah,
That-
no, it
I think
is.
that was 106.
Yeah. But I legitimately had just face on the table. I didn't want to look at it anymore. I did because I hate myself.
Yeah. So the main point I want to I'm landing this political plane here.
Oh boy.
I would rather have watched a Deb Fisher
Oh,
or
geez.
Don Bacon political ad than that game. I was praying for a political ad to come up. I'm
No.
like, no, get this off my screen. I would rather see Don Bacon and Deb Fisher and all them doing their lizard people shit.
Instead, you know what you got?
You got another touchdown.
You- no, you
and
got-
another one. And,
And
another one.
And an interception. And then an interception.
Oh,
Real quick, I'm just curious. I want to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know when you
Politically?
when you no
no.
when you knew in your gut
Come on.
that the game was over.
Come on.
I texted the group. I said 14-0. I said ball game. That was the moment that I realized this one's over. Just how easy it was, how dismantled we looked. I knew 14-0. The ball game was over. I did not know what it was going to turn into, but at 14-0, I said this one's over.
Dowdell fumble. That was it.
I could tell you the second Indiana got to 21, at that point I knew I was lying to myself.
Everything's okay.
Like at 14-0, I was like, yeah, no. I mean, I've seen bigger comebacks. Like that's not that big a deal. It's 2 scores. When they get to 21, he was like, oh, geez, it looks effortless. But, I've seen bigger comebacks. And I think I knew in the back of my head I was wrong. I was hoping that we could see something crazy. But when was the last time that we really saw just an absurd comeback out of Nebraska?
Okay, so that
I got it.
That is where that's basically where I'm going with that question.
Yeah.
Is if at 14-0, me as a fan who loves watching Nebraska football every Saturday, Fridays, Thursdays, whichever it is now. At 14-0, Matt Rule talked about the psyche of the team and like playing not to lose and like here we go again and that predated them, all this stuff, right? But at 14-0, as a fan who's watched 30 years of Nebraska football, I looked at that and I said, game over. Why? Because the last 7 years, I have watched those teams not ever have a comeback like that. By 14 points, I thought there's no way we can come back to this.
You know what's funny about that question? The largest comeback, the last one, 2011. Ohio State.
Yep.
They were down 27-6 in the third quarter, and they came back to win.
Thank you for hurting Braxton Miller.
Right.
And thank you, Luke Fickell, for being the interim.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, that's like looking at Tommy Armstrong and Rex Burkhead and those guys, Amir Abdullah. It's looking at those guys and being like, hey, they're never out. They're never out. And when was the last time you were able to say, hey, these guys are not out? They're not out. They're down 2 scores. They're not out. They're going to come out at halftime and they're going to put their foot on the gas.
It's tough.
At 14-0, I realized this one's over. They're out. So what are the players thinking at that point?
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's kind of like it's just we go in circles because Nebraska is a place that obviously cares about their football and we pay attention too much. And here we are at work. We're watching Matt Rule's press conference. Like, not a lot of fan bases are like us.
No.
And we watch every game and we do this every week, regardless of results. And I think it gets to them. I think it gets to the players. I think it gets to the coaches, which makes it get to us. And it just gets to everybody. And like our negativity branches out to them, but we are negative because of them. Like, so, and yeah, I mean, yeah, but you're the fan who's always demanding firings or whatever. Not doing that, but yeah, it's like I see the play on the field and I'm not happy about it, and I make my voice heard.
Jared, can I ask?
And it permeates.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm.
Do you think I don't think rabidity is a word, but how rabid the fan base is? Do you think that weighs on these players more than what they have on the field? Is the fact that they know when this happens.
I think it does, Mike.
Okay,
I don't think you can just play it off like that.
That happens everywhere where people give a shit about
You're
football.
not wrong. You're not wrong.
Do you think it happens at this level?
Yes.
I mean, you can talk about
look at Florida State, like it's happening all over.
Look at Florida State. Nobody gives a shit about football at Florida State anymore.
That's not true.
They're what are they 1-6?
No, you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah,
it's
they've
like
given up.
There's something about a place that gives a shit, and it's gonna happen no matter where they go.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If you're a recruit and you're like, man, I shouldn't go to Nebraska because they're fans. They really care.
Yeah, they tweet a lot.
They're
gonna at me.
Right.
So
they love it when they're getting recruited and they tweet a lot. They retweet stuff. They say all these nice things. Even if you lose, they still say nice things.
We sure do, don't we?
So
there's a lot of us that do that.
My point is not about recruiting. My point is about the guys that are on the roster right now. Because it's one thing, like Mike said, is like as a recruit, like everything you do, like there are Nebraska fans talking to you, saying, we're so happy for you to come to Nebraska. But when you get here, we talk about all the time that it's a fishbowl. Mm-hmm. And being inside the fishbowl, none of us have. But it cannot be easy because every single play is going to get analyzed. And we're not always, especially in this room, the whole point of what us four do here is we're not here to be nice. We're here to be objective. Sometimes less than objective, but still looking at, what happened on the field. And I think that can be really tough. And I think if you look at other programs that you can compare, like you were saying, Mike, there are other programs that care about football that have this same, fandom. You're looking at schools that are, notoriously successful. And it's been 8 years since we have, and we're still on that level. So I think that might be a factor. I'm not saying it's affecting the play on the field, but it certainly affects, like Kyle said, the psyche.
Yeah. I think the thing about fans, though, is you're going to have the loud minority and you're going to have the quiet majority and the positive fans. And I was having a conversation with Coach BA, fan and writer of the show. And this is something that kind of stuck with me. He talked about, BA he's pretty positive. Like he tries to talk Husker fans down. And I told him, I said, I personally can't do that because I have years of evidence to support what I'm seeing. I've seen this, and I think you have every right as a fan to react the way you need to. When your team is putting an embarrassing result on the field, you as a fan have every right, especially fans that donate their hard-earned money to this program. They have every right to react the way they do on social media. Now, there is a line, and sometimes fans go over that line. But I'm telling you right now, this team's 5-2, pretty much going to be 5-3, and they have every right to be pissed off of what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, and like people going over the line. I mean, I don't think that's not even a Nebraska thing.
That's just in general.
I mean, dude,
It's not unique.
No, look, I'm sorry. Like you said before, we are nice.
Yes,
I've seen some fan bases that aren't nice, and like, yeah, we're 5-3. Kyle,
5-2.
No, 5-3.
We are 5-2.
And like, so I guess I'll throw this out to you guys, like 56-7 thrashing. As non-Kool-Aid as we are, none of us saw that coming.
not at all.
None of us. I don't care even if you thought Nebraska would lose. You didn't see 56-7.
I said we were going to lose, and no way in hell did I say we were going to lose by more than one score.
No way.
I said we were going to cover the spread.
Yeah.
I thought at its worst, it would be a 10-point loss. At its worst.
And that was with us acknowledging some of the concerns. Like Kyle, and I don't want to speak for you, but like you have voiced your concern about these second halves. Like there have been concerning things, not being able to run the ball. Like, hey, I need 3 yards and you can't get 3 yards when you need it, or we've just talked about those concerns that we have, but even with those 56-7, did you see a 50-point loss? No, stop. If you say that you saw a 50-point loss, you're full of shit. Stop it. Don't be like, oh, I saw this coming because, they suck in the second half, and stop. You didn't see a 50-point loss. There's no way.
2 points of this. One, not a 50-point loss, a 49-point.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Didn't drop a 50 burger on us.
Push up your glasses.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
actually.
Were you not the well actually guy on
Yes.
Saturday?
Yeah,
and
that's why
we've
we lost.
traded
about
spots.
well
That's
actually.
why we lost.
But the other thing, and I don't know if you guys saw the stat already. If you haven't, I'm about to make you even more sad. For ranked teams, I was looking through all levels of college football on the biggest wins in the NCAA. And Indiana, as a ranked team, got the biggest win for any ranked team over Nebraska.
Great.
And like, obviously we had already seen it, but seeing it written out, I felt like almost hurt more
It was
than what I
Indiana's.
saw on the TV.
It was Indiana's largest margin of victory in a Big Ten conference game
Ever.
And guess what? They've been in that conference for a while.
Yeah.
But of course, it's Nebraska that falls victim to that freaking stat. Of course.
Yeah. And on this like really great discussion and news, I just one quick cause here.
Yeah, you're
You
gonna
chug
need
that.
that.
There you go.
This episode is gonna get real sad, boys.
Well, we're being a little doom and gloom. We're, I think, less angry than yesterday. I think I am. I feel like I've got all the demons out.
It wouldn't take much because you were literally throwing a freaking tissy fit over there. Like throwing your microphone
Actually, multiple times.
multiple times. Like, yeah,
I think I'm
hanging my head. I'm moping around.
I'm less angry.
Just disappointed.
Yeah, honestly. And
Like-
that's like the dumbest thing for me to say when I look at, like, I've never coached football at really any level at all.
I like how he added the really in there.
Yeah.
Just to like make it look like, hey, maybe I've coached a little bit, but not really.
I coach on Madden and NCAA.
I did
a lot.
consult. I did consult for a middle school team for DBs one time. I was not asked to come back a second. I believe I used the phrase "put their dicks in the dirt," and they were like, "They're seventh graders." So
I coached Powder Puff my freshman year in high school.
there you go. See,
So
yeah,
you are qualified.
I am qualified.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
I've asked Madden before.
yeah.
There you go.
You know?
I think, like, it's so dumb to say, like, I'm over being angry and I'm just disappointed, but I am disappointed because I know this team genuinely is more capable than 50-67. I
Right.
know that. I think we all know that.
Well,
But
that's
but
interesting.
it did happen.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm not angry because I know it's a talented team and I know they can achieve better. I'm just disappointed that, like, why are we shitting the bed this week? Because we know we've got a tough week next week. I know we're going to get to that, but, like, this isn't the week where that's meant to happen. It's never meant to happen, but, like, come on.
BA comes in with $1.99. Thank you, sir.
Oh, come on. What about the $9.99, BA?
He says this pod feels like your dog died. Sad, not mad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana took us out back, and
They all yelled at us. They all yelled at us.
They old yell at us. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh,
well, okay. So we still timber, or do we?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I think.
you
I
asked
think-
me this question.
Go on.
You asked me this question on Saturday.
I don't remember it. I don't remember asking you.
Well,
You
there's
asked me
mimosas.
this question. You said, when?
No, that was
Well,
me.
Or was it you?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
me.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
give
You
me,
asked
give me
Yeah,
my
that's
props.
why I didn't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say somebody asked me this question. At what point do you get to when do you get to a point where you aren't timmering anymore? And I answered to Kyle and I said, if we do not make a bowl game after starting 5-1, I will not be timmering next year. I will be
Ooh.
slamming, and I told you guys the panic button was on the table.
Slamming.
I am banging that panic
You're
button.
breaking it
Yes.
because you're
Oh.
slamming it so hard. It's not even a button
My
anymore.
panic button was on the table,
So
and I am banging that freaking panic button or the onion rings from
I,
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Mike, I don't.
That was great.
I
That was a great
agree with your
transition.
point that, like, starting 5-1, a bowl game has to happen.
Right.
But
It does. Don't say
Kyle-
but. No.
Kyle, we gave 5 years to a former head coach,
Yeah.
Coach
Don't care.
Scott.
Beep.
We gave 5 years, and there were still. I know us in this room after about year 3, like, oh, not the guy. But we are 1.5 seasons in.
Right.
You have to at least let him play out this season before you're putting that button on the table. I think it's ridiculous. Sure. I know we're going to talk about,
5-1.
some other people on the staff that I think, question marks are deserved.
Sure.
But Matt Rule right now, if you're sitting here after just over a season and a half and you're saying, like, maybe not the guy, you're crazy. This is exactly where and how Nebraska has gotten to the position it's been, is because we expect too much. And I'm not saying that we needed to expect an 8, 9, 10 win season this year. I called before the season, I called a 9-win season. I'll sit here and own that all day. Did I expect that? No. Did I want it? Yes. But, like, you don't need an 8 or 9-win season here for Matt Rule to still be doing
I'm
the
not
good
saying
job
to fire
and be
him.
the right guy to do the job.
I'm not saying to fire him. I was just saying
You
that's
wouldn't
when-
trust in him.
that's when my timmering is going to be done. If you start the season 5-1 and you find a way not to make a bowl game 2 seasons in a row where you had 5 wins and you had multiple opportunities, this would be a lot of opportunities to not make a bowl game. To me, that would be an issue. And we would see, that means we would not have to win another game. If we do not win another game this year, you know how pissed we are right now?
Yeah.
Times that by 5.
I get that, but you also look at like the schedule down the road is not. It's not a patty cake. It's really not.
No schedule anymore.
We talked about it yesterday on Cornhusker Counseling, which, by the way, you can find us every day after a Husker game from 11 to noon. We talked about it yesterday where everybody thought UCLA was a layup. They had a fantastic weekend. There's not any game down this stretch where it's like an easy win. This is going to be hard fought.
I think I think it ultimately comes down just to quantity of opportunities. In 2 years, that would mean that you had 9 opportunities to make a bowl game.
Sure.
That is where the big concern comes from. But I do just want to say as well, I don't want to be part of the narrative of the fan base that's like, people are already talking about firing Matt Rule.
No.
And that's not where we're at. That's not at all what we're saying.
Legitimately, have you guys met anyone in real life that is actually asking for that?
I haven't heard anything.
0 people.
Scott Shanley. That's about it.
Jesus. Well, okay. Like, I do want to clarify because there might be people that are late into the stream going, they're talking about firing him. Nope. I think up until this point, right? I'm speaking for myself here because, like, me and Mike, like, we do the whole Twitter thing. Okay. Like, I've gone out of my way, certainly up until this game, to defend Matt Rule from people. Like, I've done that.
Like, even Satterfield.
Sure. Yeah, even Sat. Even a scat.
No, you can call him that. I think you called him Shatterfield yesterday.
Shatterfield, yeah. Shatterfield. Well, I'm just saying, like, even me and we were giving him a little bit of flowers because he's been a little creative at times.
Dealt with a lot last year.
Yeah, even we have given him that benefit of the doubt. But I think this is the first game that, you know, I would say if I had to rate out of like 10, I would say my Timmer level was probably at like a 8.2. You know, like, I still have my qualms about his in-game things. Great ambassador off the field, great on camera. I think he has a great personality that gets recruits into the door. But it's the in-game stuff that kind of worries me. But I think this is the first game that even the most devout rulers out there are doing a little bit of this. Like, they're giving a little bit of the side eye, like, you know what I mean? This is the first game where I think a lot of the fan base is going, changes are going to need to happen. And now, if you want me to keep investing and trusting in you, something might need to change. This is the first game. This is it right here. October 19th was that moment of this year. So, anybody disagree with that?
No.
Kyle, how's your Timmer level right now?
Not demanding a firing, just people going.
I think the end of the year. I think the bowl game aspect of this conversation, that is a big, that like you said, Mike, you don't make a bowl game with 9 opportunities in 2 years. That's whoa. That's like
terrible.
That's real bad. Now, I think it also goes into effect what happens after the season. How does Matt Rule prove that, yes, you should Timmer? How does he do that? So if you're looking at 12 games of poor product on the field offensively, when you yourself, now this is 2 years in a row now, they've gone out and they've picked people by hand, Jeff Sims, then they've gone out, they've picked up Jamal Banks, they've picked up Isaiah Nair, they've picked up all these people by hand, brought them into the program, and you're still not seeing results. There's something to be said about what happens after the season and how do you fix that. And that will ultimately determine how the ratio there on how people Timmer changes.
So, Kyle, I have one more question for you. It's a 2-parter because I need a number out of you. Where are you at right now on your Timmer scale, and where are you at if we don't get a bowl game?
Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, okay, you'll think about that, okay?
Yeah.
I'll say going into this game, like I said, did I say 8.2?
8.2.
You said 8.2, which is weirdly specific.
I'll just say, just for the sake of levity, 6.9.
If we don't make a bowl game?
If we don't make a bowl game.
Oh, that's...
Oh, you're at a 6.9 right now.
Yeah. If we don't make a bowl game, I won't have a rating because I'll be dead.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'll have, I'm driving over a nice bridge. The water looks warm.
Or cold in the wintertime.
It looks warm. I'm going to find out it's cold after I jump in it.
No, it's going to be froze over and you're going to break your freaking neck.
Either way, drowning or blunt force trauma, I'm not going to have a rating. So, Kyle, do you have an answer yet? Do you have an answer now?
Yeah, I think I was like leaning towards like 7.75, something like that for where I'm at right now. Like I said, it will my confidence will either bump based off of decisions made in the offseason and then obviously if we make a bowl game or not. But we've got some people in the chat here. I'll read off some of these things.
Super chats? Pay us. Give us money.
Support the pod.
Come on.
Give us a super chat. Show us you love us.
Okay.
We need your money.
What do you got?
Okay. William Dimert. Sorry if I pronounce that wrong. Should Matt Rule needs to bench Dylan Raiola and started Heinrich Harburg in that game? I mean, this is where I stand on this because you guys have all kind of talked about this a little bit. I would much rather my starter be out there working his ass off and still trying to just like I never want to see the surrender, and that's exactly what Matt Rule said. I never want to see the surrender of Shadur Sanders in the last quarter. Like, oh yeah, we're not coming back. Let's just send him back to the locker room and we'll fight another day. Like, I would much rather them put out their starting guy who started the game and be like, go out there and finish what you started, because clearly, like, we can't be taking any reps off based off of how this is going. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Can you reread the question to me?
Well,
Benching?
Was it benching, or should he have benched and started?
I think he's talking about in that game.
I would hope in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit about
starting Harburg.
Right.
No.
But again, I got on my high horse. We talked about, I think yesterday, about like in that situation, we know Harburg's got reps. And if you want to look at the progression of how this QB room is going to go, what's Harburg doing next year? Is he still going to be playing at Nebraska?
Yeah. Well, probably.
Maybe.
I mean, on paper, he will be eligible.
Yes.
Yeah, but
if he's not on a different team, I don't know.
It's a conversation that just like it's not.
I think
he's dating Harper Murray. So
I want Danny Kalen to get those reps.
Hey, good for him.
If you're going to be down 42, 49, whatever, get the young guy some reps.
Do we even know if Danny Kalen traveled?
That is if you're going to pull Dylan Raiola out of the game. Kyle, I like your thought about like you don't give that surrender.
Yeah.
Whites.
But if you're going to do that and you're gonna bring in another QB, get the young guy some reps.
Yeah, and I mean
4 games.
Danny Kalen going in that game and just let's feed him to the Sharks. I don't think that sounds like a great idea to me either. But anyway,
are you gonna put him in a competitive game?
Oh, well, no, but I'm certainly not going to go out there and say, hey, we're down 49 and they're just sending blitzes at our guys the whole game. Like, I'm not sending him out there just to be like, hey, go out there and get your ass kicked for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'll give you that.
Well, this begs the question because, and I think maybe you saw during the game, he's limping around. Dylan.
Yeah, and is there an injury?
His ankle seems to be not ankling correctly. And so it's like, he couldn't run to begin with, right? He's not a running threat. He's not going to be a running threat ever, let alone now with this ankle. There is no run game to speak of. And so it's like, it gets you thinking, well, there's Heinrich.
Right.
Like, how many touches is Heinrich going to get? Because I feel like that's going to be, like, before I'd keep playing it off. You guys keep talking about your Heinrich shit. It's all gimmick. It's all just, he's going to get his cute 1 or 2 plays a game. I'm thinking double-digit touches from here on out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I think we have proven now, we have 7 games of evidence to say that we cannot run the ball traditionally under center. Well, we don't do it anyways, but we cannot hand the ball off to our running backs and expect positive results. So I think you're at a point now, to answer William's question in a different light, is I think you're at an opportunity now where I think you need to bring back some of those option concepts. Matt Rule has said that those are still in the playbook, and we did have success doing them. Now, is there a risk of turnovers, etc.? Maybe. And if that happens, you still have Dylan, who's going to be playing primarily most of the game anyways. But it's one of those things. If you cannot run the ball traditionally with the running back, you might have to, in my opinion, still gimmicky, but you might have to bring Heinrich in to run zone read, run the option, etc. Because it is It's not good. Like it's not good. I talked about this with BA earlier today. When you're trying to hand the ball off out of the shotgun, you have to be able to, one, make a guy miss, which we don't do.
They can't. Nobody can.
You have to get vertical push, which they do not do at all.
Right.
Oh.
So if you cannot do either of those things, you have to have one person that can change that, which is a mobile threat at the quarterback position, because they know Dylan's not going to keep the ball. They know he is not a threat at all.
But so this is exactly my point is, do you think the running game has been, frankly, ineffective over the last few weeks due to lack of talent in that running back room? It's because, in my opinion, blocking has not been spectacular.
Lack of talent across the board. I mean, look,
blocking has not been spectacular. So putting Harburg in to try and run the ball, I don't think we're going to see a lot of different results.
Well, okay. I got to be careful with this. Okay. Dylan Raiola,
Yes.
5-star.
Yes.
He can pass very well for the most part, right? I mean, there's been some throws here and there where he doesn't look comfortable or he's floating the ball or whatever.
This last game was not fantastic.
It's been 3 games where it's not been great. But it's like you bring a quarterback like that in, and please, by all means, bring in quarterbacks of that stature. Please. But you know he's not a runner. There's no threat whatsoever. Defensive coordinators are going, okay, you're making my job a little bit easier. Like there's no threat there at all. And I don't need a scheme for you to even act like you're going to run. Can you, if you put Dylan back there with a running back next to him, you're going to, if you're passing, fine, but you're handing the ball off to him. You're not doing anything. So please bring in Dylan Raiola. That's fine. But I'm just saying, you bring in a quarterback like this. This is one of the things that happens is defensive coordinators don't need to account for you running, and it makes their job a little bit easier. And they can tee off on you and they can play back, do whatever they have to do. But God, I'm not begging for more Heinrich Harburg necessarily, but there has
more
to
wrinkles.
More wrinkles.
That's all I got to say.
O-line.
More wrinkles.
We need our boys, Jutter and Sam Hahn back. Do they still have eligibility?
No.
Are they watching?
I really hope I articulated that, because a lot of people are going to say, oh, you don't want Dylan. I'm not saying that. Just saying, when you bring in a quarterback like that, I don't know. Just makes your opposing defense's job easier.
What did Mike say? Vertical push. That's what we need. It's got to be on the O-line.
Okay, but
that's where we're going to get the most benefit.
But you missed the part about the vertical push that I'm talking about. When you're running the ball out of the shotgun or the pistol, you don't give them time to get vertical push. You need to be short distance to help push the offensive line.
I agree.
You have to be under center, handing the ball off traditionally with a fullback to help block.
I agree.
You have to bring in extra offensive linemen to help block, because they aren't getting the vertical push. But when there is no run game from the quarterback position, you're down a guy. You really are. I mean, you are down a guy. DB talked about this on the radio today. You're down a guy. So if you're not going to do it, there's a reason Iowa doesn't run in offense in the fucking pistol, right? Like they run the ball under center.
Wait, Cade's not running?
They have not had a running quarterback ever.
Never.
Right? Because their offensive linemen, one, usually get vertical push, so they could probably do that if they wanted. Sure. But you need a quarterback that is athletic enough to make plays just to keep the defense honest.
Yeah. So I'm going to get to another super chat here.
Hey.
But what I want to say is I think my disappointment and my sadness comes from the fact that like we're supposed to be this get big, run the ball, and like immediately you're out of that.
Yeah.
For whatever you think of Iowa and Kirk Ferentz, they could be down 20, 21 points. They could be down 4 scores. Those guys are going to go out there and they're going to line up and they're going to run it down your throat. Doesn't matter. Those guys, no matter what, will stick to their identity. And there's no
identity.
You say you have an identity, and then as soon as you are down, 7 points, it happened on Saturday. As soon as you are down, you say, never mind. We got to go. We got to go. We can start passing the ball. I don't care. If you're down 7-0 and you guys really can't get the run game going, you have to at least try. You got to try. They give up on it so fast. And that's where I stand on where my disappointment comes from 7 games into the season is they're done trying. They don't even try. That game wouldn't have been as bad. We would not have lost by 49 points if you just stuck to whatever identity you think you have. That's it.
Whatever identity you think you have. When you say identity you think you have, who are you talking about? Who thinks that's their identity?
Matt Rule.
But it's not.
But makes you think. So makes you think where's the disconnect?
Right.
Yesterday,
just throwing it out there
on Cornhusker Counseling, Kyle broke it down for us. What did you say? It was 46 passing to 29 rushes.
Yeah.
Does that seem balanced in any way?
Right. That's what I'm saying is at least try. At least try. I don't care.
Don't give up on it.
I don't care that you lost by 2 scores, right? Because you tried to run the ball the whole game. You really gave it a shot. I just can't do the hey, we just lost by 49 points because we were giving the ball back in 20 seconds because it was incomplete pass, incomplete pass, incomplete pass, incomplete pass. That's what gets me. That's what kills me. Is you stand up here from the moment you got here, talked about fullbacks and tight ends and running the ball. And as soon as you're down 7 points on the 1 yard line, it's from that moment 8 pass attempts in a row.
Kyle, I say this as a Jeff Munkin hunk. I definitely see your point. That identity should be the thing, right? You're in the Big Ten. That's what is going to work here at Nebraska. Not the Isaiah Nair, Jamal Banks shit. I'm sorry, it's just not. I've been vocal about this before.
They can be complimentary.
They
They cannot be the focal point.
Yeah. But as a Army football steward,
ranked,
and I love it.
Undefeated.
If they were to run the ball like that, like you said, a lot of fans are going to go, this looks like Bill Callahan in 2004 when we went to USC, where they conceded the game and you just played not to lose. So again, I want that to be their identity. I am like Matt Rule here. I'm the big fullback, triple option, caveman, run the ball guy. But at the same time, I think a lot of people are going to go, oh, why'd you give up on the game? You're just running. Well, so it's just kind of a double-edged sword there. You're going to get the fan base that says both things. They want that, but at the same time, once it happens, they're going to start pissing.
Sure. And when it's not working, everybody's going, why do we keep running?
Yeah,
why do we keep running?
Right.
I get it, but you have to stick to your identity. You come in and you say fullbacks and tight ends, being big, running the ball. That is what you sold. That's what you sold. That's what you told us.
Freaking A.
Right.
For 2 years in a row now. That's what you told us. That's what you told us literally the pregame before Saturday.
It's all red meat for us. That's all it is.
That's what you told us. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then immediately switched up. It's you lose the game. People lose games. I get it. But 56-7 and you threw the ball 46 times.
That's embarrassing.
That's not at all what you told us.
Right.
So my question is, starting a game, does Nebraska need to be begging to get the ball first? Because again, it's 7-0. It's been one drive.
Your defense is moping around after it.
And we panic. It's we're like a dog chasing a car. Yeah. I don't know what I would do if I caught it.
Yeah. Okay. And I will say, I did say, take the ball first, set the tone, go score, make them play from behind. Would it have mattered?
Probably not.
How much does that add? Because we've talked about repeatedly the last 3 days. This is day 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Talking about this team's psyche. What is that like? What does that turnaround do? Where we're up 7-0.
Connor, you know what sucks?
Nebraska.
Besides that, so the Jamar Butler quote that was going around, how things don't go our way, we hang our heads, we start to mope. He didn't say mope, I'm saying mope. It's just, that's the side of the ball that's supposed to be the strength. That's supposed to be what keeps you in games. But when you have a member of the black shirt saying that, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be the strength of the team. And you have one of your most experienced guys saying, we got sad.
But
what the fuck?
Complimentary football.
I know.
You know what happened last year? We had a horrific, putrid offense, right? But we were in a lot of football games because we ran the ball in dominated time of possession.
We ran the ball a lot.
We saw on Saturday what happens if you don't you can have a putrid offense, but you don't run the ball and you don't dominate time possession. You did win it, but you did not dominate it because you were passing the ball so much. You were giving the other team the ball so quickly. And your defense, we've seen, when they are tired, they are not good. Easy as that.
I mean,
Kyle, was there a super chat?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's two. So let me get to these quick.
Please.
$9.99 from BA.
Wow, money back.
Love you.
He's paying our rent.
He says, back to like the Danny Kaelin thing. He says, I don't want Danny Kaelin in the game. If he throws a pick six down 42-7 now, you've got two freshmen whose confidence you have to rebuild.
Danny Kaelin's career is over. It's done.
We don't even know if he traveled.
I will tell you, as the biggest Danny Kaelin fanboy, that is an excellent point.
Yeah. And then $4.99 from BA.
What the hell? This guy.
He says not having a QB run game is fine when you have a real offensive system and not choosing plays like it's on a menu. So
I do love that.
Sure, and that's where the feel of the mishmash, throw shit at the wall, the lack of an identity comes in. Where, like, what's a really you go to a restaurant and
Denny's.
there's just fucking you can't even pick a thing because it's so much shit.
It's the Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake.
Yeah, their menu's like 35 pages long.
Never been there, but I've heard gross things about their Bible of a menu.
What's crazy is I've also never been, but I still know about their menu.
Yeah.
And so like if you have 35 pages of shit to pick from, how are you going to pick the right one?
Well,
it's a guessing game.
Like this team on offense, what's their most reliable play that they can just
jet sweep?
No.
Well, they ran it with Nair, so
Nope, not the jet sweep. It's a play that shouldn't work, but it does.
I'm waiting.
Lofting it up and praying for a defensive pass interference. That's your most reliable play, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it even happened.
We got
in
one.
the game.
We got one.
Right, we got one, and I think that's what led to the score. Was like on that drive because that gave them like 20 yards right there. That's your most reliable play is underthrowing a dude and hoping that you have a Purdue defensive back going. We trying to get to the fucking guy.
We talked about this going into this Indiana game, talking about how we all said, at least most of us said, that they don't have the athletes to play man against.
Oh my God! Okay, please, yes, this was the next thing, but yes.
Oh, and they did. And if you want, like, we have the speed on the outside edges to go get down the field and beat these guys. How are we not doing it? But we saw, again, I think I said yesterday,
dogs.
I think our longest pass attempt was 21 yards.
Mike said no dogs.
No dogs.
Damn, that's an allegation. That's a serious allegation.
dogs.
Right
You're saying no dogs that game, right? Like, let's specify. You're saying no dogs that game.
In general, where has Isaiah Nair been? Where has Jamal Banks been?
We're not giving them a chance to be dogs.
We passed the ball fucking 46 times.
Yeah, but nothing past 20 yards.
I'm just saying.
Well, hey, no dogs, right? We've been making no block, no rock clips. Two of those have been by Alex Bullock, or one of them has been by Alex Bullock, the other
Ja'Cory Barney.
by Ja'Cory Barney. Now, I think Ja'Cory Barney, he's earned the dog status.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, whatever. But some of those other guys that you named, they're not blocking. They don't want to.
And when they do, they don't want like they're holding.
Hey,
or they're blocking in the back.
The dog cannot hunt if there's no birds in the field. You're not putting birds out there for them. They can't hunt.
They're not getting open. That's the issue.
So Matt Rule today, go.
Well, and here's the thing. Some fans are like, what about Garrett McGuire? We should probably fire Garrett McGuire. My thing is this. If the play calls are not there and the receivers had success at other places, we obviously know it's not the receivers. So what's the issue here?
Yeah.
Like, why are these guys not getting separation at Nebraska? They were able to do it at Wyoming. Not really Texas.
Wake Forest.
And Wake Forest, they were doing it at a high level. Is it because the Big Ten defenses are just so much better? Or is it because your play caller is that inept to get them open?
It just seems like Nebraska brings people in and they just don't.
They just don't work.
They don't do it the way they used to do it. They lose something mental. I think it's mental.
Can I loop back really quick to something that we already addressed on this episode? Is that we're kind of a one-dimensional team right now. We're not getting the run going.
Right.
So what do you think these teams are going to scheme for? They're going to scheme for us to pass. So yeah, it's going to be harder for these guys to get open because they know we're not a threat on the ground. So
That's a good point.
yeah, it's not totally the receiver's fault. It's not Dylan's fault. It is the fault that we're just not getting a run game going. If you want to get the pass going, you got to run.
You have to.
O-line is mid. Running backs are mid.
They don't make nobody makes anybody miss.
Here's the thing:
It's just everything is so simple for the opponent. Always. If a Nebraska player has the ball and you flick their ear, it's easy. It's easy. Everything is easy for the opponent. It just is. And it has been for a while. The Jalen Lloyd thing, the fake punt. It's like, dude, just fucking score. Come on. I know I'm sitting here on my couch, 6 deep, but break the tackle. Come on.
We don't break tackles.
It's, and it's a lack of just like a fucking, I've said this before, testicular fortitude. It's just a lack of it. I'm sorry, when Dante Dowdo goes down that easy and he fumbles the fucking ball, like I thought you were a freaking
Power back.
I thought you were a dog, man. What happened?
You run through their face,
What
remember?
happened? Yeah, you run. What happened to you breaking old boy's arm before? Where'd that go?
Yeah, there was a clip of the game that was passed around on Twitter, and it was a run by Barney. It was kind of, I think it was like one of those jet sweeps. He goes running out to the right, or some sort of like
a bubble screen.
It was like a bubble
Swing
screen or
pass.
something. Yeah, and you've got Banks on the right. It's Banks and then the sideline. There's probably like a foot of separation, maybe a yard. There's 2 defenders coming in from the left, and you've got Barney like trying to bounce it to the right where there's no room, instead of just taking the contact and just trying to get some extra yards, like just taking it to the defense. Right, you're beat, sure, but take it to him. Like take the force to the defense,
Or just take what they give you.
take what so it's like you jump back to cut outside, and then there's the sideline there, so you're really not going to get a whole lot of room there, and then you got Banks. It's not really blocking that great. Like there just seems to be a lot of like, instead of just taking it to them, they're trying to run around people. They're trying to dance around people. Like just take the ball to them. Like make them work for it.
Yeah, make them make a damn play. Like in biology today, we have learned about active transport versus passive. Right? Active versus passive. This team has been passive. No energy.
They are passive.
They are. They just
Yes.
they just are. And I don't know if this needs to be a whole other freaking 20-minute discussion, but like you still have guys on this roster
I mean, I think
that were coached under the previous staff, and people bring this up. You still have Scott Bleep guys on the roster, and it's like, oh, you eradicate them, you eliminate them from the roster. Like, the Joseph Stalin picture when he's on the boat? He has the picture with the guy.
No, I don't think any of us know that picture offhand.
Well, maybe we can put it on. It's a dude that Stalin used to be friends with, and then he had him killed. And then a year later, it comes out, and the dude's erased from the picture. Like, if we just do that with Frost guys, is this team better?
No.
Like, do we just straight Stalinize these motherfuckers?
We can't. Because
Can we
they're still the best players on the team.
Do we do the great purge of Russia?
No.
Let's talk Ohio State.
Why?
Because we've been going.
What do you want to
Yeah,
say?
We've been going for 50 minutes.
We got 9 minutes.
Yes, Ohio
Oh,
State.
geez.
They are, they lost a while ago. They're coming off a bye. They're playing at home.
Okay.
They run a similar offense to Indiana with better players. Yet they will still not win by as much as Indiana did. That's my bold prediction.
It's not even bold. That's not bold.
Not bold.
Ohio State's going to win like 35-3.
Mm.
I don't even know if we're going to get 3 because I don't know who can kick 3. They're going to win like 35-3 or 42-7. That's what's going to happen.
Ken, I know we talked about this before the episode. I said before the season, when we did our season prediction episode at the Hurrdat Sports Bar here in La Vista, I made a bet, and I want to, re-up that. And I'm going to add on that if Nebraska beats Ohio State this coming week,
What are you going to shove up?
I'm not doing any shoving.
Okay. For
No.
for a super chat, does anybody want to donate for for Connor to shove something up his ass if Nebraska wins.
If BA
I'll tell you what,
gives us 20 bucks.
There is what? No, not 20. $10,000 super chat, and I'm taking 5 home.
Think about all the clout you'll get.
No. So I made a bet before the season. I said, if we beat Ohio State, I would shave my mustache live on a stream for No Block, No Rock. I'm going to up that bet that if Nebraska can beat Ohio State, for every point that Nebraska scores when we win, if we win, I would donate $10 to a charity of the No Block, No Rock listeners' choosing.
That's a big bet. What if we win 49 or 56-7? Sorry.
$560 to a charity of the listeners' choosing.
What did you just say,
a
Mike?
shaved mustache,
Mike.
and $10 for every point we score if we win.
That's very thoughtful of you.
And a McDouble in the ass.
No,
Yes.
nothing with my butt. Nothing with my butt.
No butt stuff for Connor because he's boring pussy.
I'm sorry, I have not heard one of you surrender your butts.
I would keep going.
You won't either because you already offered.
No, I did not. I'm
Do you
being
still-
very clear.
Kyle, do you still have that drop handy?
I might.
Damn.
Oh,
I was hoping you would
Let's
have
see
it.
if we have it. Normally, no, that one.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Damn it.
This
Kyle.
was AI.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not very hard to
If
find.
not,
Oh yeah. No. Here we go.
Here we
Here we go.
Normally, I prefer backdoor.
And this is why
That
it has
is-
to go up your rectum.
That is AI. I don't know where they got that from.
fake butt stuff news.
Yes, thank you, Jared.
So we talked about Ohio State. You said
Did we? Did we
Kinda.
talk about Ohio
kinda.
State?
You said this. Ohio State is coming off of a loss with a bye week to prepare for Nebraska
Did they need it?
at home for Big Noon Kickoff. This is a recipe for absolute disaster for Nebraska. It is going to be so miserable to watch.
Well, Mike, the good news is the Horseshoe is a notoriously nice atmosphere
Yeah.
for visiting teams.
Yeah. If the 50,000 fans
50,000.
in Bloomington bothered
Oh,
you,
yeah.
times it by 2, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Jamari Butler, you're going to be extra sad this week.
Have you guys got to visit the Horseshoe before?
I have. We lost 62-3.
Oh, so you were there for Nebraska. I was there for Ohio State, Penn State,
No.
and I was in Nebraska gear, and they were throwing full beers at my head. That is a mean stadium. They're not going to be nice. Mike, you've mentioned multiple times about how this is a team that Dylan Raiola said he was going to come play for.
Yes. They are
You
going to be
think they're
very
going to be
hostile.
nice?
Very hostile.
His ankle isn't 100%.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
boy.
another $4.99 from the BA coaches show.
Oh my
He'd
gosh.
say, I'd say Connor could get shit on, but that's just a normal Friday night. If you know, you know.
Okay, that was a Saturday.
It'd be Saturday.
That was a Saturday, and it was a bird during the Nebraska Purdue game.
not a person.
I don't want to allow any rumors to propagate here. I was shit on by a bird, which apparently is good luck, and we did win that game.
Okay, now it's okay. It's the rule presser today. Just something that stuck out to me. He got a question about the Jamari Butler comment about the team getting down on themselves, right? And Matt Rule's answer, and this is okay. This is an okay answer. Like, I am not mad about the answer because, again, these press conferences, you just got to get through them, okay? But the thing that he said was, and I'm kind of not verbatim, you got to look at reality. You got to look at the tape. You got to see what you did, see what you didn't do, right? You go back to the game. What could you have done better? And I'm trying, I want to articulate this as best I can. So please forgive me if I get a little rambly, but we're at a point where I'm kind of looking at Rule and I'm like, damn, you got a hell of a job ahead of you, because I don't think you can just go to the Indiana tape. I don't think you can just go to the Illinois tape and see what mistakes did we make, what good things did we do, etc. There's something deeper, okay? Like, I believe you have the players there, certainly not to lose 56-7, for fuck's sake. You have the players to at least make a bowl. So it's just like, what can Matt Rule do? You know, he's got these assistants, and maybe he needs to make changes with these assistants.
Probably does.
And you watch the tape, you know, gosh, name a linebacker. Anybody?
Isaac Gifford.
Isaac Gifford.
Well,
I know. It's
he's a safety. But yeah.
Same thing.
Isaac Gifford. You know, if you would have just plugged that hole or, you know, whatever, I don't think it's that easy though. Because it's all up here. Again, I'm the mental guy. I just don't think you can go to the tape and that's going to solve your shit. I just don't think that's where we're at. I think this program is deeper than just looking at game tape.
Dare I say, I think, honestly, the Illinois and Indiana tape are probably the least valuable to this Nebraska team right now. I think the most important tapes that you should be looking at are going to be Rutgers and Purdue. Because those are, like, Rutgers is certainly a much harder game than Purdue was. But both ugly games that we won. And so I think it's very easy for Husker fans to sit and say, like, well, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
I think you need to look at those hard-fought wins and say, well, what did we do right?
Maybe that's a good point, Connor. Maybe we need to look at those games and see, hey, we played shitty, but we still got through it.
Yeah. I think that might be the most valuable thing right now is not looking like, because Indiana, there's nothing of value to look at there, like nothing of value. Look at these hard fought wins, because even though you look at this Purdue game where like the final score, if you're just looking at final score, looks like, oh yeah, we handled business. We fucking didn't.
Right.
We didn't. Go to that game and watch that tape and say, because that is the first time all season that we actually had an adjustment that worked. Look at that. What did we do? Why did that work? How did it work?
The tricky part
Look at that.
about looking at tape is the next 4 out of the 5 teams we play will be spread RPO type teams. There's only one team left on that schedule that is going to line up like Rutgers and just say, hey, I'm running it to the right, stop it. Because Wisconsin, they used to do that. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they figured that out, didn't they?
UCLA, they're a spread RPO type team. Ohio State, same thing. So I do love what you said, Connor, of, yeah, let's watch the winning stuff that you did.
Good stuff.
It's
but
not
the
necessarily-
only thing you could look at would be like, go look at UNI, go look at UTEP, go look at Colorado, because those are the types of teams you're going to be playing moving forward. And if you want to see nice things, those are the ones you're going to have to find, because the Rutgers and Purdue game, like, Purdue is terrible. They're fucking terrible.
Horrible.
They are.
And we still managed to make it very, very interesting.
And Rutgers is a team like Iowa, where I think Nebraska can do very well against a team like that, because they know, and they're very predictable. They know what's going to happen. But that RPO, all of a sudden you have multiple options and a quarterback that can make those decisions.
God.
It turns those defenders' brains into freaking worms.
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a note on Ohio State before we kind of wrap up, because we're at about an hour, is like watching Ohio State and watching some of these like marquee programs that are just doing really, really well right now, is their football field seems like it's 100 yards long and 100 yards wide. It just seems like they just have people in space, and there are 10 to 15 yards in between them and the next defender everywhere you look. Literally everywhere you look. So, like, if I had one wish list for Nebraska football, just on offense at least, is it would be look like that. Right now, it looks like everything is just so hard. Every yard is fought for. You look at these other teams, and on any given play, you can look around and you can see that football field is 100 yards wide.
Hey, Nebraska, go look like Ohio State.
Yeah. Hey, wouldn't that be nice?
Against Ohio State. All right, before we get into cover corner, let's go around and do our scoring predictions.
Heinrich Harburg will get his first touchdown of the year. It might be the only touchdown that Nebraska scores. I'm going to say 44-7, Ohio State.
Okay.
Kyle Byers.
Jesus Christ, that is just so.
Saying
it out loud.
I'm going to say 38-10.
You don't need to expand.
No.
I think I might be the most pessimistic this week. And I feel like being nice, and I'm going to call it 49-7. I don't think we need to say who.
Okay, I'm going to be the most positive one here. 35-7. 35-7.
Sunshine and lollipops
I
from
think
Mike Delaware.
This will be the first time that Matt Rule's team plays to not get blown out, where they actually just run the ball.
35-7 not feel like a blowout to you?
No, because I think that will account for the turnovers and everything else that's going to happen in the game. But it's enough that the offense will still have the ball a lot, and they're gonna run the ball and use the play clock.
Hey, are we going to win time of possession again?
No.
Okay.
You know what's gonna really suck, you guys? What's gonna really suck is Nebraska's gonna go out there and play their best game of the year, the most complete 4-quarter game, and they're gonna waste that effort because they're still lose by 3 fucking touchdowns. Best effort of the year, culture game, right? They come out fucking hair on fire, still lose by 3 touchdowns.
Again,
Sucks.
I'm gonna re-up my bet.
And that's being on the positive side. Sorry.
If Nebraska wins,
5-layer.
No, not a 5-layer. I will shave my mustache on stream and donate 10 points or $10 for every point Nebraska scores if Nebraska wins. You have my word. It's right here on MBNR.
It's very good.
That's very nice of you.
Safest bet I've ever made.
Yeah.
All right.
Cover corner.
Cover corner.
What do you got,
All right,
brah?
so
Quickly.
I picked some funky ones for you guys. We'll go around the table very quickly. Mike, we're going to start with you. Move around the table. I've got number 11 BYU at UCF. I have the home and aways correct this time. I know we had some funkiness with that. The spread is BYU -2. UCF came off a very close game against Iowa State.
Sure.
Mike, what are you thinking?
I got BYU.
Kalani Sitake's BYU Cougars.
I'll take BYU covering that.
That is a very so. I'm gonna take the Mormons too.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We have number 8 LSU at number 14 A&M. We have A&M -2.5, which at home -2.5 is essentially a pick 'em. Kyle Field's very loud. Mike, what are you thinking?
LSU. I picked Ole Miss 2 weeks ago over LSU, and LSU said, "Fuck you, Mike. You're wrong." I'll take LSU.
Yep. I picked LSU before. You guys called me essentially a fucking idiot. Kyle Field, although they are ranked the number 1 place to play on NCAA Football 25.
Wrong.
Fake. LSU Tigers. Go Tigers.
I don't really know, so I'm gonna go with whatever you guys said. LSU.
I'm also taking LSU. We are just
Go Tigers.
one and the same here today. All right, I got one Big Ten matchup for us because I always want to put one Big Ten game in there. I've got number 20 Illinois versus number 1 Oregon. They are at Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon is favored by 25. That's a whole lot of points. Austin Stadium, very, very loud.
Illinois covers. And you know why? Because Bielema is a Big Ten football coach, and he will slow it down, and he will not get blown out by 25. And I think they're pretty good.
Illinois will cover. I saw him we all saw him go to
Penn State.
Penn State, and they put up a relatively good fight. Didn't lose by 24, whatever that line is.
Yeah.
25 is the line.
Give me Big Bert to cover.
Okay. I'm also going to go Illinois covers because you know why? Just like Mike said, they're not going to give up on the run.
That sounds really good.
God damn it. We are unanimous this week
That's
on the
great.
cover corner. I'm taking Illinois as well.
The graphic is going to be so easy.
Mike Cagley is very happy with us. Okay, guys. Miss anything?
I don't think so.
No, I think this was a real positive and pleasurable podcast, and I hope that all the listeners feel the same.
Yeah.
Hey, the real question is 4 shows in 4 days.
No.
Do we come back tomorrow?
No, we're out. We're out.
I'm
No,
tired
fuck you
of seeing
guys.
you, Jared.
Yeah,
These
that's
other
fair.
2 guys are fine, but just you.
That's fair.
I think
I
I
deserve it.
This is why we do this, though. Our listeners, the people that spend their money on us, etc., they listen to us because we are not talk radio. We are not going to find the silver lining on an absolute dog shit of a game. So this is why we do what we do. We get our frustrations out. We turn the page and on to the next game.
We turn the page. We get super chats from BA.
We love him.
Shout out BA.
Shout out BA. Make sure you go check out his article. It is fantastic on mbnrpodcast.com.
Yeah, I think it's a very timely article and it's well written. Thank you, BA.
I'll tell you, he is a really good writer.
Fantastic writer.
Okay. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cavalack.
Kyle Byers.
As always, beat Ohio State. Try to beat Ohio State. You won't beat Ohio State.
Do your best.
In GBR.